Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nicolette Hodge. I am an angel warrior standing with and representing Master Solomon. He is the Son of Man, the breaker of the seven seals, the messenger of the covenant, and he has mastered all 22 chapters of the angel, which is Revelations. That is our God mind, brothers and sisters. Welcome. The Holocaust is our complete and total experience being under the thumb of these devils. It's not slavery. It's not a critical race theory. Slavery is working someone without paying them. That is a very small percentage of what we've been through. Slavery does not include being raped relentlessly and nonstop by massa. We were raped so much and so frequently that half of the blacks here in America are demons. Massa is a devil. His offspring are devil men. That's what a demon is. That's not slavery, brothers and sisters. That is their effort to completely destroy the original seed through raping us like that. These devils sodomized, buck broken our men. That's not slavery. That is a direct and deliberate attempt to completely dismantle our family unit. And not only were our brothers buck broken, however, they were made to witness and watch us being raped, turning our brothers into complete punks. That's not slavery, brothers and sisters. Making our men stand by and watch as we were completely mangled up, children being fed to alligators as bait. That's not slavery. Taking the biggest, strongest, most influential of our brothers and completely breaking them down. They know what they're doing. All of this is their attempt to completely destroy us. Force feeding us feces and putting muzzles over our mouth so that we couldn't spit it out. Human and animal feces, make that clear. That is not slavery. That's torture, terrorizing us, and tormenting us, afflicting us. That's not slavery. The Abrahamic covenant says that we would be enslaved and afflicted. That's two different things. Hanging us by our ribs, peeling our flesh, eating our skin, which these devils did not call it skin. They said that we had hide. And that's because they saw us as beasts, which is what they are. They always try to deflect their stuff off onto us. They're beasts. That's why they treated us as beasts. So they would peel our skin, which they called hide, and use it to cover their shoes and their purses and coats. That's not slavery. These devils are sadistic, evil, vile beasts. And they know what they are. That's why they cannot stand to even face the reality of what they have done to us. They will not teach it in school. They're calling it a critical race theory. There's nothing theoretical about what happened to us. These are facts that can be proven. And if they were so happy and proud of what they did to us, they will be talking about it freely, openly. They know that they are dead wrong. They know that they are guilty as charged. And judgment is on their behind. Judgment started in 2020. We gave them 400 years from 1619 to 2019. Then this plague come hitting Egypt, knocking out the Egyptians, the firstborn and the elderly, these Europeans, and passing over us, God's people. There's no way they can get out of consequence. For every action, there's an opposite or equal reaction. They have to pay for what they did to us. And their consequence has to be just as severe as the Holocaust. Scriptures tells us that their judgment will come in one day. 1 year is what that means. All 466 years, because we came over in 1555. We gave them 64 years to produce the first Negro bot, which you call the first slave. And here we are in 2022. So they have to get 460 plus years of the Holocaust, all squeezed into 1 year. Pure hell is what they have coming. They were relentless with us. They didn't have any restriction, and every line was crossed. Therefore, their judgment will be relentless. There will not be any restrictions, and every line will be crossed with them. Period. All right, brothers and sisters. Today we're going to speak about these devils' final solution to getting rid of us. Now, we need to understand that they've had several plans in place to destroy us. However, none of them worked. Their long-standing plan that's been going on for almost 500 years now is to completely eradicate and destroy the original seed. We know that we are the seed of our fathers. If your father is original, that makes you original, no matter what your mother is. Your mother can be a devil, a demon, Hispanic, Latino, Oriental. If the father is original, then we are original. If the father is a devil, no matter what the mother could be a black woman, Oriental, Asian, Hispanic. It doesn't matter what the mother is. If the father is a devil, that child is a demon. So an easy way to understand this, the male carries the seed. If an apple seed is placed into the ground, it don't matter what you use to grow that plant, don't matter what kind of soil that is put in, an apple is what's going to form. You put an orange seed into the ground, it don't matter what kind of soil that you use to plant that seed, it's going to come out as an orange. But you cannot change the seed, period. And so what these devils have been doing is constantly and relentlessly raping the original woman for nearly 500 years, putting their seed into us and forcing us to have the demons. This was a really big deal back in chattel slavery, because that was chattel slavery or agricultural slavery. Now we are in industrial slavery. The Holocaust has been going on the whole time. And so what they were doing is completely restricting us from being intimate with our original man. If we were found being intimate, if it was found out that we were intimate, we would be killed. And so they restricted us from being with the original man. And Massa was constantly raping us nonstop. And Massa's goal was for all the children that were on the plantation to be demons. Now, their plan was to completely wipe out the original seed and produce their sinister hybrid nation of demons that are devils in black skin. That's the problem that we are plagued with now. We are surrounded by all these demons. It's 34 million blacks here in America. 17 million of us are original. The other 17 million are demons. So you got a room full of 10 black people. 5 of them are demons. 5 of them are original. They are keeping us from unifying with each other. And this is because they walk like us. They talk like us. They look like us. However, they are not us. They do not think like us, nor do they have the same nature as us. And so, without us having this knowledge, we're working against ourselves. We are upset at ourselves. This is why I don't like to be associated with black people. Not even realizing that all black people are not the same. This is our biggest issue, which is why scriptures tell us that the first war is with the demons. We have to go to war with the demons. We have to separate them away from us. The chaff from the wheat. If you don't separate the chaff from the wheat, it takes over. Another way scriptures talks about it is the barley from the wheat. Barley looks exactly like wheat, however, it's not the same. You have to pay attention. There are very subtle differences between the two. And that is what's taking place with this demon plague. You got to pay attention, and then you start seeing that there are subtle differences between us that are original and the demons. And so no one could identify these demons except for Master Solomon, the son of man. And their plan was to completely deceive the son of man, because by them raping us nonstop and producing their sinister hybrid nation of demons, when Master Solomon came on the scene to fulfill the Abrahamic covenant, because the Abrahamic covenant says that we would be sojourners, which is strangers, temporarily, in a land that is not ours, undergoing enslavement and affliction. That's slavery and the Holocaust for 400 years. Afterwards, we would come out with great substance. We are the great substance. We are the wealth of America. We are the gold and silver. And we will be led back home. We will go back home between the great river Euphrates and the river of Egypt, which now they call the Nile River. The land in between those two rivers is Arabia. That's our home. Master Solomon is the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant. And so their goal is for when Master Solomon came back on the scene to fulfill the Abrahamic covenant, there would be no one here, no one original. It'd be only demons here. And one or two things would happen. He would be resisted by the demons. They wouldn't be trying to hear the Abrahamic covenant. And for the ones that did pretend, they would slither their way right on into our home, the promised land, Arabia. And at the end of the day, all that means is that the devils still get to have our reward. So they thought that they would be able to deceive the Son of Man by having nothing here but demons. And the only reason why this plan did not go the way they thought it was going to go is because us, the original sisters, had to sneak and procreate with our original man to keep this original nation afloat today. And so that plan did not work. However, they have several plans in place to completely destroy us. That's their biggest goal. And so we got the chief demon, Legion, Legion. All of those letters stand for something. L stands for Lewis. E stands for Eugene. G stands for ground. ION is the NOY backwards. That's exactly what he has done. He has come in the NOY, completely turned it backwards, uprooted all of the teachings, turned the temples into mosque, moved the chairs, put our brothers down on their hands and knees, further emasculating them and making them helpless by praying 5 times a day instead of getting up and handling business, taking control of their own reality. And so he brought in Sunniism, which is the golden calf. It's told you in scriptures that's what Aaron would do after Moses left, who is Elijah Muhammad. Aaron would come in with this golden calf and have our people worshiping this Sunniism, which is our enemy, because they are sitting in our land pretending to be us. And if you accept Sunniism, then you have already turned down the Abrahamic covenant. You've already forfeited your reward. And Farrakhan knows that. He is the chief demon. And so these demons are put into place to keep us away from our reward. Farrakhan is doing that with this Sunniism and Scientology and Masonry, and put Dianetics into it. That's another devil. Ron L. Hubbard. He's a devil himself. His father is a false Jew, Percival Clark. That makes Farrakhan a false Jew in black skin. And so these demons want to keep us from our reward, either by taking it themselves or deceiving us out of our reward. And that's what they wanted to do when Master Solomon came on the scene. is deceive him and slither their way into our promised land. And at the end of the day, the devils still get our reward. They're devils in black skin. And so they had other plans in place. They thought they would kill us off by putting us through hard labor, working our fingers to the bone. Our average lifespan when we were in agricultural slavery, the Holocaust still, our average lifespan was 21 to 22 years of age. And we still survived that. And then they had plans in place to pick all these fights with these different nations, mainly China and India, and they thought that they were just going to round up our men and send them off to war, a war that they would never win, and keep the women and hold us captive. Now, an easy way to understand this is these devils have been practicing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. They have a saying called jus prima noctis. Jus prima noctis. The short way of saying that is prima nocta. And in simplest terms, it means the right of the local noble to deflower the local peasant. And what these devils would do is all of the nobles, whenever the peasants would get married, the nobles had a right to take the virginity of the wife before the husband got a chance to be intimate with her. And in them doing that, of course it was against the wife's will and the husband's will, so they were raping these women and forcing them to have their seed. With them being the first one to be intimate with this woman, 9 times out of 10 she was pregnant. And so this is something that these devils have practiced all throughout Europe. This is normal behavior. And they took them same practices and put that on us throughout the Holocaust. Now, with them marching the men off into war, a war that they would never win against a 200 million man army of China and India, and keeping the women back, holding us captive, they would then turn us into sex slaves and force their seed on us and completely wipe out the original nation. This is a war tactic. Understand that we've been at war for nearly 500 years. It's coming to a head now. These are all their tactics that they, in their plans to get rid of us. They also put abortion into place after we were let up out of chattel slavery. After that time period, we're still in the Holocaust. Understand that slavery and the Holocaust is 2 different things. Once we were let up off the chattel slavery, they put these abortions into place. And the whole goal of that was to wipe out the original nation. And what they would do is when these women would come into Planned Parenthood, for one, they put Planned Parenthood in black communities. They don't put that in the white communities, and they don't put it in the Hispanic communities. And so one thing about Catholics, it is a sin to abort a child. It's a sin to spill seed. They don't even believe in any type of birth control whatsoever. And so these Hispanics are running around here and they're very fruitful because they are procreating without any interruptions, if you will. And so with them coming in and bringing this abortion into place, when you would come into Planned Parenthood, they would do counseling. If you were with a Caucasian or a man of lighter tone, they would talk you into keeping your child. Because at the end of the day, they want their seed to prevail. Okay, and I know this because I have gone into Planned Parenthood and they ask all kinds of questions about who the father is. And once they find out, if it's a black man, they encourage you to abort the child. And if it's not, if it is a Caucasian, they'll start talking to you about options and how you should think about having this child. And so these abortions, go look it up. Margaret Sanger worked with the KKK and said that she would come up with a plan to help them completely eradicate us. They said that we have sinisterly fertile soil. Okay, and they think that they're just going to exterminate us like a bunch of bugs. Crazy. And so all of these plans have been coming at us left and right. However, we've been pulling through. They don't understand that the harder they work against us, or the harder they come against us, the harder they're going to fall. And us being up under all this pressure has made us into a diamond. This pressure, them trying to kill us off at every angle. They thought that they could completely starve us out by sending all the jobs that are best suited for us overseas. The technical jobs, agricultural jobs. And so China and India have all these jobs over there that were supposed to be for us. However, they could not stand to allow us to have any type of wealth and have any kind of way to take care of each other. They thought they would be able to starve us out by sending all these jobs overseas. And what does that force us to do? Nickel and dime hustle, and they would throw our men in jail and further cut us off from our seed bearers, our original men, because half of our brothers are in the prison system. So they sent all of our jobs overseas through the men in the prison system. The sisters are out here single, and they telling us, get you a devil. They treat you better. They got money already. Go be with a devil. Okay, and it's only the sisters that were strong enough, because mind you, we got all the demons around us with a devil on their arm telling us that we need to do the same thing. So it can be quite confusing to those sisters who don't have any knowledge or any understanding of what's going on. And so that's every angle they're coming at us to completely wipe us out. Because if our men are locked up and we don't have any jobs, and they're telling us to go be with this devil because he has everything that we need, and then some sisters might fall for the bait, fall for the trap. And so today we're going to look at their final solution to wiping us out. Because during this time period that they were putting all these plans in place, the abortion, the hard labor that they put us through in chattel slavery, the relentless and constant rapes of us, the original woman, and them sending the jobs overseas, putting our original men in the prison cells, and then they come around with this LGBTQ agenda, which you cannot procreate if the sisters are with each other and the brothers are with each other. And what they done is they put the black man's face as the representative or the poster child for the LGBT community. Now, there's some mathematics behind the homosexuality, as far as a lot of people are born that way due to incest. A lot of them are demons. Okay, and a lot of our brothers don't know any better because they've been seeing this on TV as children and growing up and are being severely misled. And so those three factors I just named right there, at the end of the day, it still attacks our seed bearers. The original man is our seed bearer. And if they are out here encouraging us to be homosexuals and making it seem cool and fun, that is another attempt to completely wipe out the original nation, because you cannot procreate with the same sex. It's just that simple. And so what we're going to look at today is their final solution to wipe us out, because none of these things that they have put in place have worked. They've gotten close. However, it has not worked. We are sitting here right now speaking to you. So that is evidence that Their plan did not work. However, they have a final solution to wipe us out, and that's what we're going to be looking at. All right, brothers and sisters, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the devil's plan first, and then we're going to look at our plan, Master Farad Muhammad's plan. He is our God. He is the one in control. He's calling the shots. Our timing is perfect. We are ahead of these devils. We know everything that they're up to, and that right there should let you know that we are in control. If we can tell you what these devils' plans are, that means that we're in control of what's going on. And so we're going to get right into it, brothers and sisters. Here we have the angel key. This is the bottom part of the angel key. We're focusing on the European nations. So the angel key starts at the European nations in white. It goes up to the Oriental nation in yellow, which is China, North Korea, Japan. Then it goes up to the Asian nation in brown, which are the India, the Arabs, the Sunnis. Then it goes up to the African nations. The Islamic part of the African nation are the Levites. And then in the middle of the key, we have the original nation, which is corrupted by demons. And I explained that to you, how our original nation got corrupted from us being raped constantly. Right now, we're focusing on the bottom of the key where the European nation is. And you see the yellow up top, that's the Oriental nation. And they are part of this explanation that I'm giving today. So this is the same angel key, however, we're focusing on the bottom part. Now, here we have the European countries. We have America, which is Eve, Satan, Cain. That's false Israel. Britain is Adam. Let me make something clear. Go back to the story of Adam and Eve. That's not two people, two humans. Adam and Eve is two countries. It says that Adam was formed from the dust of the earth. The earth is the European countries. Britain is an island off the coast of Europe. All right. What does it mean by the dust of the earth? The dust. All of Europe's exiles, pedophiles, robbers, thieves were sent to this island called Britain. And so Adam, which is Britain, went to 1,000-year slumber, which is the dark ages. Eve came from out of his rib, came from out of his side. And then his side was sewn up. So that means that Eve, which is America, and Adam, which is Britain, are two separate entities or two separate empires. Then they had a son, Cain. America and Britain put false Israel into place in 1948. This is the same time that the Christ, Master Solomon, was conceived. The Antichrist is false Israel. So mathematically, we can prove that the Son of Man is who he say he is. Everything lines up. And the whole reason why they put false Israel into place was to counter the narrative that the messenger was given, the truth that we are the true seed of Abraham. They cannot have us running around here knowing that we have a reward, but we'd be holding them accountable. So they put the most hated of their kind, these false Jews, those European Germans, over in the Middle East, and said that they are God's people, which is a lie. And so we have Seth and Abel, which is Iran and Syria. That is the Islamic part of the European nation, our Iranian and Syrian brothers and sisters. And we have the serpent right here in the middle, the one that is convincing Eve and Adam to eat from the tree of good and the tree of evil. And so we're going to get into details of what is going on here. America has a nuclear edge over their enemies. Their primary enemies right now are Russia, China, which includes North Korea, and Iran. Now, America thinks that they have the upper hand. Master Solomon has revealed that they have nuclear armed satellites over these different countries, Russia, China, Iran. And this is why they don't mind picking wars with China. They're pushing China into war. They're pushing Russia. Okay, they're provoking China by messing with Taiwan. They're provoking Russia by being in the middle of this Ukraine disagreement. They are instigating a war. All right, and they have been abusing and mistreating Iran and Syria, and they want the Middle East for themselves. And so they have a nuclear edge, or so they think in their mind, over their enemies, which is these nuclear armed satellites. This is top secret information. Now, what they do is they think that if they nuke up Russia with their nuclear armed satellites, they get them out the way. We know that they still have a problem here in America with the demons. America has a problem because the demons are longing for the love and acceptance of Massa, which they will never get. And they are willing to kill Massa to get it. These demons, Christian blacks, they want America for themselves. They're saying that our blood, sweat, and tears is the reason why they should have this land. From our perspective, the original nation, that's the very reason that we don't want to have nothing to do with this place. We don't want to be on a land that we were tormented and oppressed on. We want to go back to our home in Arabia. We preserved our home with sand, knowing that we would come over here and go through this nearly 500-year submission to these devils. And so we don't want to stay here, period. However, the demons, they do want to stay here. That's why Farrakhan keeps saying we ain't going nowhere. No, him and the rest of his demons, they're not going anywhere. Okay, he knows that. And so America thinks that it can nuke Russia, get them out the way. They have plans to attack all blacks in America because they cannot exist with us, the original nation, in the same home. Our pressure is too great. We are high pressure beings, they are low pressure beings. And if we were to stay here in America, there would be a conflict. Because with us waking up and having knowledge of self, there's no way that we would be submitting to this reality. At the end of the day, they want to wipe out the original nation, period. And so America and Britain attacking blacks. Okay, meanwhile, they think that they're just going to nuke up China. Because think about it, Russia, China, and Iran are nuclear threats or existential threats to America. So they want to wipe out all of their threats altogether. They're going to get Russia first, then China, North Korea. They're getting all blacks in the process, the original brothers and sisters and the demons. And with them wiping out Russia and China, then Iran and Syria will be isolated because they don't have any of their allies. Russia and China is an ally to Iran and Syria. And at that point, false Israel sitting in the Middle East, Satan, it tells you those who call themselves Jews and are not are the synagogue of Satan. That's false Israel. And they tell you it's a hint when they say Jewish. And so with Iran and Syria being without any allies, they being isolated, they will either have to submit to false Israel, or false Israel will go ahead, because they're backed by America and Britain. That's their military power as America. They have the same political structure as Britain. False Israel and Syria will be backed against the wall and forced to surrender. And if they don't surrender, then they plan to nuke them up as well. And so the serpent is the one, which is Obama. The serpent is the African nation. Obama is the lord of that nation, or he's the head of that nation, the representative of that nation. And he's the one who is convincing America and Britain that it's okay to take us out. That's the serpent that was convincing Eve to eat from the tree. And Eve was to convince Adam to do the same. So Eve ate from the tree of evil and Adam ate from the tree of good. And so they want to take us out, brothers and sisters. No matter how you square it, no matter how you look at it. And so we're going to look at Master Fard's plan, Master Fard Muhammad, because at the end of the day, we are the ones in control. We wrote the scriptures for us, and we sealed it up. Scriptures tell you that Daniel himself sealed up the scriptures, and only him could unseal it. Okay? And Daniel is Master Solomon, the son of man. He is the only one who is claimed to break the 7 seals. He's the only one who has brought to our attention that we have a reward, the Abrahamic covenant. So you cannot deny these facts. And so Master Fard Muhammad's plan. Same angel key. It's going to be a different movement. Okay, but it's the same exact setup. We got the European nation right here. We got the Oriental nation right on top. That's what the yellow is. Okay, so our plan. Syria and Iran are not going back to the JCPOA deal. I don't care what these devils tell you. They know they're not going back to it. That's why they keep dragging their feet. Iran has already told them that we're not doing it. Not only that, Iran has created the chess game. They're not stupid. Every move that they make is calculated and mathematical. That's what chess is all about. It's completely unmathematical to sign this JCPOA deal knowing that the next president is just going to come and overturn it. And America cannot, their treaties mean nothing because they go back on their word all the time. They're liars. And so Iran and Syria are moving up in preparation for war. They're not going back to the JCPOA deal. Michael and his angels, Master Fard Muhammad, his angels are Iran and Syria, will go to war with the dragon, which is the House of Saud, and his angels, false Israel, America, and Britain. Now, Master Fard Muhammad, Iran, and Syria are going to make their move first. These Europeans have all these plans. America has these plans with their nuclear weapons. And the whole thing about it is they cannot let Iran enrich their uranium to a point that they would have their nuclear weapon ready. Because at that point, then whatever America has, their nuclear armed satellites will not be as effective if Iran and Syria have this nuclear capability that they are so scared of them reaching. So in America's mind, they have to move quick. However, we know that Master Fard Muhammad is making the first move. So that means that Master Fard Muhammad will have to make his move quicker than America. This is why this war is going to take place any day now. And so Iran and Syria, under the direct guidance of their 12th Imam, Master Fard Muhammad, our God, are going to kick the House of Saud out the Middle East. Remember, the House of Saud is the one who's controlling the oil and giving this endless pipeline of oil to America. That's why America made sure that those fake Arabs, they're really Indians, had security in our land, okay, to ensure this cheap oil flow. None of that is theirs. It's not their resource to be given away, and they know it. That's why they put Sunniism into place. That's why Farrakhan is pushing Sunniism. He's in bed with the Arabs. And he is pushing the Sunniism to keep that oil pipeline going, to keep us knowing that that's our land and that's our reward. And so Iran and Syria kick out the House of Saud, America, and Britain. America and Britain have now been kicked out the Middle East. They're attacking blacks. Iran and Syria are now taking false Israel under siege. False Israel no longer has the protection from America and Britain military. Now has turned into a ground war. Why? Because when they went to go launch their nuclear weapons, Master Fard Muhammad disarmed their nuclear weapons with the Wills. The Wills is our technical marvel. These devils call the Wills UFOs. Okay, there's nothing unidentified about these objects at all. The scriptures outline them as wills. This is our transportation up out of here. It is our protection. Master Fard Muhammad is responsible for the sky security. Master Solomon is responsible for the ground security. And so these wills have been hovering over their military bases, knocking out their nuclear power. They will tell you that. They cannot even get close to these wills. They travel in air, they travel in the ocean. These devils cannot even wrap their minds around how these wills work or what kind of technology it is. And that's because this technology they would never understand. These wills were made by us on a whole nother planet, and we brought it here to Earth. And so we don't sit here and industrialize and make these different industrial, we don't manufacture anything in our home. That's why these devils they're in so much trouble now, because they're stupid. They done moved this whole industrialized vision. They brought it into place. And what do you need to even run an industrialized complex or an industrialized factory? What do you need? You need oil. Not only that, but it's tearing up the planet. It's causing mass pollution. And all these factories that got set up all over the planet is heating up the planet and causing the ocean water to be warmer, killing off all the coral reefs, killing off millions of our fish. And so, brothers and sisters, it don't take a rocket scientist to realize that the direction in which these devils are going has to be put to a screeching halt. There's no way that they can remain in power over this civilization. They are corrupting and tearing up the planet. The planet is now fighting back. And not only that, China and India have a huge hand in the overpopulation problem. They're taking way more than their share. The planet is not replenishing these resources as quick as these devils are using it up. And this is including China and India. And so, America and Britain get kicked out the Middle East. False Israel is now left stranded and now have gone under siege by Iran and Syria. America and Britain is automatically attacking blacks. Why? Because now it is revealed that we are the true seed of Abraham. It cannot possibly be those false Jews sitting in the Holy Land saying that the Abraham covenant is theirs. The biggest thing about it is it says that once we are placed in our land, we would never be uprooted again. With false Israel saying that they have been placed in that land, for one, they ain't never been at peace. They're surrounded by walls. So we know it's a lie. However, with them being uprooted and destroyed, this is going to send shockwaves throughout the planet. These devils going to already know what time this is. They're going to know what that automatically means when false Israel is destroyed. So false Israel goes down. They're attacking all blacks. All right. The next move after this is the four winds will blow. This is when the African nation will shield all blacks. All black people are going to flee to the mountains. Now, we have already explained these three locations. That's the safest place for our people. We will be fleeing when America and Britain get kicked out the Middle East. We're telling you to flee when America and Britain get kicked out the Middle East, because if you wait until false Israel goes under siege and this shock of the hour takes place, you finding out the same time that these devils are finding out, and you're going to be too late. When we talk about these devils coming to attack, it's not going to be the Navy, the military, the police force, because they will have time to organize. We're talking about these next door neighbors. The ones that you have gone out of your way to live in these cul-de-sacs. Some of you are in bed with these devils, which most likely you are a demon, or you may just be a Negro bot. You don't have any knowledge yourself. And so we are surrounded by these devils. And these devils understand what it means when false Israel gets destroyed. That means that we are the true seed of Abraham. They will automatically become bitter, angry, jealous, and spiteful. Because in their mind, how could God choose us over them? And so they're attacking all blacks. We are fleeing at this point. And on the other hand, America and Britain have been kicked out the Middle East. False Israel has been destroyed. The House of Saud has been put out. And now America is getting up there on the news saying that Russia is the reason why they lost the war. They're not going to be telling the truth about how Master Farad Muhammad disarmed their nuclear weapons with our wills. They cannot and will not let the general public know the truth. They're going to be blaming it on Russia. Now, Russia is an ally for Iran, so it's very easy for them to blame Russia. It's easy to put that lie together if you look at it. And so, Russia, remember, America and Britain got kicked out. Their oil have been cut off. America have been selling their oil reserves this year. Okay, and they sold their oil reserves to the highest bidder. Somehow that oil ended up in China's hand. America is going to be hurting bad. They're not getting no oil from Russia. They just blamed Russia for the reason why they lost the war. They're not getting any oil from them. The EU is not going to continue to suffer because Russia is cutting them off of all kinds of resources they need for this winter. They're not going to starve and freeze to death because America wanted to instigate a war between, the Ukraine and Russia. So the EU is going to turn on America. And so America has its back against the wall. This is called the War of Armageddon, where all these European nations are fighting each other. The West will be fighting itself. That is the War of Armageddon. You got Lion Farrakhan sitting up there saying the War of Armageddon is taking place right now. He don't know anything. He just repeating something that he's seen on the news. He doesn't even understand what the War of Armageddon is. That's because he's a devil. Okay? He's a devil man. He cannot see what's right in front of his eyes. So you look into Farrakhan for guidance, you already lost. You already lost. And so the War of Armageddon is taking place. America will be nuked. And China and India, they're coming in to invade America with their 200 million man army. Farrakhan is saying that we not going anywhere. Okay, well, what has he built for us here? It's a big lie. It's a big scam. His first order of business when the messenger departed in 75 was to liquidate all the assets. And he worked together with Warith Wallace to, because his name is Wallace and Worth. He worked with him. He allowed him into the NOI, and they both worked together to dissolve the assets. Wallace was on away from us. He was kicked out the nation when the messenger departed. So Farrakhan deliberately destroyed all of our hard work, all of our earnings, and he put it right in his pocket. Has been living like a king. $1 million suits, mansions, $1,000 glasses, shoes. All right, and he never misses an opportunity to show off his jewelry. All of that is at our expense. And so you have to understand why he's saying that we ain't going nowhere. It's because he's not going anywhere. He wants America for himself. And that's what he has his student ministers getting up there every week saying. Take America back by force. We know there's going to be a 5-month demon plague in which these devils are going to tear this country apart. These demons, they are devils in black skin. These demons are going to tear this country apart because they want it for themselves. And so, as if Sunniism wasn't enough, he done brought in this Scientology, the Dianetics. It's a form of blackmail. You tell all your business to this auditor, you got to keep paying the money. The moment you can't play, your business is put out, or you are threatened to, if you don't keep participating with Farrakhan or you don't come up with that money, you and all your dirty laundry will be aired out. And so, all of that is being broken up and dispelled. Master Solomon, the messenger of the covenant, is our Messiah. Farrakhan is saying he's the Messiah. He can't prove anything to you about that. When has the Messiah been a hypocrite? When has the Messiah have taken from our people and robbed them and lied to them? And so, one moment he's Aaron, next minute he's the Messiah, next minute he's the anointed one. He cannot prove any of that. The only thing that can be proven is that he is Aaron of the scriptures. He's already admitted to it. And he is playing his role exactly how scripture said that he would do it. And so Master Solomon, the Son of Man, has brought the angel to us, which is our God mind. This is our memory. This is how we used to think before we lost knowledge of self. And so with him going in and breaking these 7 seals, he has activated these events that are taking place. He is making these events happen. Okay, and us angel warriors, we are bringing in this new reality. Because every time we help you upload your God mind by explaining the angel to you, we are raising your thought pressure above those of our enemies. And that in itself, our thought pressure up here, our enemy's thought pressure is down here. Before we was on the same level as them or below. With our thought pressure being above them, now it's causing waves. It's causing pressure differentials. And it's causing them to go against themselves. It's causing confusion. We bringing truth to you. It's dispelling all the lies and falsehood. America don't understand what possessed them to sell all their oil reserves. China and India don't know why is it in their mind to come against America and invade them. We are in control of their thoughts. That's what I'm getting to. We are the ones making this reality of the Abrahamic covenant, our vision, come into fruition. There's no mystery God waving a magic wand making it happen. From the moment that Master Solomon broke the seals in 1990, pressure waves have been permeating or moving all throughout the planet because he has raised our consciousness level, our thoughts. And the higher our level of consciousness is, the higher our thought pressure, the more we are crushing their reality because they are low pressure thinkers. They're low pressure beings. And high pressure, 1 ounce of high pressure can defeat several thousand gallons of low pressure. All right. And so we are the ones making this happen. That's how we can even explain to you what their plan is. And so this is how it's going to end for America. China and India is rolling in with their 200 million man army, and they're going to do everything to these devils that these devils have done to us. And whoever survives it will be let out in chains. America will be nuked up. And, you know, it's just so beautiful how the angel works, because while they're planning to wipe out Iran's allies, Russia and China, and zone in on Iran and make them surrender or submit, Master Farad Muhammad is actually going to wipe out false Israel, America, and Britain's allies, which is, Master Farad Muhammad is going to wipe out false Israel's allies, which is America and Britain, and is going to completely destroy false Israel. These devils have everything twisted. They have everything backwards. They think that their plan is going to be the plan that wins. They don't know that their nuclear weapons will not work. That's the whole thing about it. What good is having a weapon? What good is having a gun? You ain't got no bullets. And America, these Europeans, period, they're nothing but cowards. They think they big and bad when they got a weapon in their hand. And so could you imagine the shock when their weapons don't work? Could you imagine the even bigger shock when they realize that they're not God's people? Because they think, okay, our weapons didn't work. Well, at least Jesus is going to come back and save us at the last minute. And when that doesn't happen, oh, they're going to be angry. And this is why they're going to be attacking us. And so, brothers and sisters, we are laying out play by play what's about to happen before it happens. We done explained to you the next 2 wars, the War of Armageddon, and then the China and India invasion. And these devils, they can't even figure out which war is coming first. And you got Farrakhan lying to you, saying that Armageddon is already happening, and he knows he's making that up. And so, brothers and sisters, this is their end. They think they're going to make it all the way to their cyborg vision of a human brain and a robot body. This is why they don't mind nuking up the planet. This is why they have already put plans in place where they don't need none of us. They don't need us originals. They don't need the demons. The demons are challenging Massa because they want something from Massa that Massa is not willing to give. They want recognition. They want acceptance. They want their name to be in the will. They want America for themselves. And these devils don't mind nuking up the planet because they already are heading down a slippery slope of biological life dwindling away because of their industrialized vision. They got factories set up all over the planet and they're dumping waste left and right. And the planet is not able to recycle as quick as they are dumping because of overpopulation. And so they don't have no problem nuking up the planet because at the end of the day, you don't need no biological life for a cyborg. And this is their way. They think they're about to be immortal, living through these cyborgs. They're silly. And so they're not going to be allowed to nuke up the planet. They will not be allowed to nuke up our home. America will be nuked. And this place will be a nuclear dump. There will be no life here at all. That does not affect our home in Arabia. And so, brothers and sisters, I hope this is clear. I will be back with more. Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum.